Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we're back on the Stitches Challenger and we're going to do something different, something for fun, something to just change it up a little bit. We'll talk more about that after the intro.
This is My Cars Shop.
It seems like every spring I go through it where I'm kind of in this limbo mode of not knowing what's next. I really don't feel like diving deep and heavy into fabrication. This spring I have to finish that truck, but there's some reasons it's been on hold that I've shared with you before. I will be moving forward on that paint job real soon, I promise.
Life just keeps happening, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm trying to regain some of that momentum and some of that emotional energy that I need to really get going again. But the transition between winter project and spring summer stuff is always hard. So I've made some difficult decisions that change in focus a little bit and just kind of finding my stride here on the channel. And most of the fabrication stuff is going to probably be put on hold for a little while I focus and concentrate more on the driver cars. Now, having said that, I'm working on the Challenger today because it's raining out. It's crappy out. Not raining, but it's just crappy out, and not mentally in the right headspace to really start moving forward on some of the projects that I want to be doing. And so I was looking at the Challenger and I thought, what would be just something fun, something different that I could do on the Challenger? And I was looking at the front valance that we picked up that you saw in a recent episode, and I thought, I really haven't done a real good job of evaluating the four front fenders that I have for this car. Now, the fenders that were on this car are actually in pretty good shape. For as rusty as this car was, the front frame rails and a lot of the stuff is good. The rust was mostly from leaking windows and soaked carpeting that rotted all the floors and the rear frame rail and the trunk out of it. But I'm going to get the fender down from upstairs and we're going to hang it on the car and we're going to do some evaluating and cogitating and maybe do a little bit of work on this driver's side front fender.
Ouch! No, gloves wouldn't have helped. I pinched it.
Really does look cool to see the fender on it. Imagine what it will look like once the door is back on it, but we're not ready for that. But let's get up close and personal and make some decisions. No, this actual wheel opening piece is pretty good shape. Let's get you back a little bit so you can see. Yeah, this piece of trim is actually decent. It's probably the only one on the car that is. I need to get some wheel opening trim before I get too far on the quarter panels to make sure those openings are right. But anyway, neither here nor there. So the fender's good. I really wished I had those emblems, but I don't. We're pretty good. There's some mud in here, but it's nothing ridiculous that I can tell. Although we're going to find out. Need to pull this light out. I think I have all four of those. I'm pretty sure I ran across the box of them the other day with the tail lights. I put these in. The ones from the rear quarters are over with the tail lights, and that's over in the 47 Ford in the other garage. The worst part of this fender is this is like a lot of previous Dodge owner Bondo. That is some thick stuff right there. That Bondo is half-inch thick right there. So even, yeah, that's a lot. More than I would want. But overall, the fender's decent. So let's pull this out. Oh, the other thing is, the worst of it is actually down here and then the mount on the inside. I don't know if you can see it. You can't, but it's shot. So we'll have to fix that. We'll do that with it off the car. But I just got it kind of temporarily held in place so we can work on it a little bit. So let's get the light off and let's get the trim off. Just a couple of, little nuts in here that need to come off. Nothing is ever as easy as it feels like it should be. There we go. Probably should have used a ratchet.
Although there was ratchet all over the fender when I went upstairs to get it.
There we go. Guess I didn't want to, come near it with any more ratchet. There we go. Interesting. Okay. You should be coming out of there, but you're not, eh? I guess I better get a light and see what's going on. Everything's out and it was just stuck. I think the little, yeah. There we go. These buggers are in amazingly good shape, and I'm very, very surprised that I think all four were on the car. I mean, there's, they're not perfect, but they're good driver quality. This car was so stripped of everything that I'm highly surprised that they didn't take these off, but it is what it is, so it's all good. Cool. All right, let's get this, if we can, let's get this trim piece off of here now. One of the things I was just thinking about is how when you're unmotivated, and I am today, I would just as soon lay on the couch and do absolutely nothing. If it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't even be out here. But in trying to find that self-motivation to get stuff done, there's always something that needs to be done, even if it's not in the like, well, why aren't you working on the floors, Mike? You got to get that. Yeah, I know. I don't feel like doing any of that stuff. So I just sat here and looked at the car until I found something that looked like it might be remotely interesting or fun. And I thought, yeah, let's work on this. So I'm going to get my grinder going here and just start peeling some paint and see what we're dealing with. I'll give credit to whoever did the body work on this car. They knew how to use Bondo. Holy crap. I'm not saying they used it right. I'm just saying they knew how to use it. So this whole fender from here forward was pretty much Bondo, as you saw in the time lapse. Feeling the metal, it's smooth. It's very, very, there's a little dent right there. There wasn't much Bondo back here. And then, of course, this is all Bondo down here, which this is all beat to crap. So we're going to have to deal with that. Little dent in there. They haven't stripped everything down here yet, but I mean, there's a little dent there. Most of those dents, if a guy was a metal guy, could be taken out. There's a little Bondo on the top up here. Most of what I'm feeling, there's a little dent right there, but that's probably since the car has been beat around forever. But his fender really is not too bad. There's some rust holes here. It's beat here, and that Bondo in there was, that's how thick it was. So you can see that they like to do, maybe they thought they were building a Corvette or something, you know? So I don't think I'm going to bother going too crazy down here because I'm going to end up cutting most of this fender off anyway. I'm going to see what a patch panel costs for this. I can make it, of course, you know that. But if it's only a $30 or $50 part, it might be worth just picking up a lower fender part. I'm sure I have to make this. I'm sure the other set of fenders that I have for this are probably as bad or worse with Bondo. This fender, when I physically pick it up, is fairly light. I'm sure it's a lot lighter now. The other ones that I got from Pauly, they're just full of mud. I mean, they're heavy. There's so much mud in them. So, and that's what he gave them to me for. He's like, if you can use them, great. If not, maybe you can cut patches out of them. It'd be nice if this part on those up there was good, so I'll have to look, but no big deal to fab this if we need to. So I only have a little bit more here to strip, so close your eyes while I strip for a little longer, and then we'll come back. So I've gone through and I've used the, 24 grit disc, I think. I started with a 36 and I found I had a 24. I need to make a road trip and get some more media. That's my last disc, and that one's pretty well shot already. So, but I went through then and I hit it with my purple wheel, one of these things, after I did the disc, and then I went over and just DA'd this one spot to kind of show you. This is kind of what we're looking for right here. To get the metal like this. You can see we got one dent right here. So I thought that would be a great thing to just demonstrate a little hammer and dolly work. You've seen me do it before. There's a little bit of stuff in here, but that'll all block out with a good coat of 2K primer, or even better, the polyester primer, which I like to use. So this was just way overkill. Even the body line is nice. I do not have any idea. Well, I do know. We'll talk about that in a minute. Why there was so much mud on here. But let's hammer and dolly this out real quick. See if we can get that straightened out. So you guys can see where it is. It's pretty much right there. So let me. I don't see any other ones. Metal is in great shape. Wow, ridiculous how much mud they put on. A little teeny bit. Yeah, there's a little in there we're going to have to work on. Yep, I can get at it. I don't know why they didn't dolly stuff out. I guess they just didn't know how to do it, or they just didn't care. Okay, let's get my dolly and my hammer, decide which one I'm going to use here, and we'll go from there. All right, I think we're going to do, I'm using a dolly that's got a similar shape. I think we're going to do a little hammer off first. So I'm just kind of using this contour in here. Whoops, fender's not bolted on there. Right there is where we're at. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but our first tendency is to want to go on the backside and just start pounding the dent out. But I like to push against the dent with the flat here, find where that's at, which is right there, and then pound around it. We took a significant part of that out. Now let's flip it around. We're going to use this part of the hammer. Almost all gone. I'm no expert at it, but I've been doing it a while. Just got to find it. That's the biggest thing. The biggest problem back here is finding where this stuff is at. It's right there. About a 32nd of an inch left. And just like that, it's pretty well gone, so we'll DA it. Looks good. Just a little teeny bit right there. It's so minor, it's less than a 64th of an inch. As a matter of fact, it's a little warm from the DA, and it's coming back out again as it's cooling. So we're golden. So I went through and DA'd this down now. It's pretty close. I'm going to take my little 24 grinder and just touch up some of these rust spots a little bit. I don't mind the rust staining, but I don't like it when I have stuff like this. So I'd rather have to deal with some deep scratches and do a little fill that way than leave something like this underneath the metal. So let's go ahead and get this little spot here cleaned up, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, got the most of it. There's still a little bit of pitting in there, but I'm going to let the acid take care of that. So this part up in here is pretty good. I need to do some more cleaning down in here. As soon as Becky gets home, I'll probably run and get some more discs, but I think I have enough consumables right now to get a bunch more done. So it's progress, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's definitely big progress. I went ahead and ground some more mud out of here to definitely, this thing is, good Lord, I don't know what they did, but they beat that thing with a beat thing. I don't think I can fix that. So I'm either going to have to fabricate a piece, which is no big deal, or like I said, if you can buy this, Fender from about here down, buy just that lower piece, I probably will. I'm sure the ones I have upstairs are nothing but mud. I'll look at it, but one good blow with a hammer will tell me, and we'll go do that here in just a minute. So the middle part of this is pretty well cleaned up. I did it down to here. Again, we're into Bondo, and I want to get the Fender on a Fender stand. I'm out of grinding media now, so I need to get some grinding discs to touch this up, so I'll go back and do that later. But I want to hit this real quick with the DA one more time, and then hit the spots that are in bare metal with some etching primer just to cover it up for now. I'll go back and probably take that back off again once I really get working on it, but I don't want it to just sit here and start surface rusting. So I'll probably hit that with some, even though I know primer absorbs moisture, etc., etc., it's still better than just bare metal sitting here in the shop. There we go. I shot that with some etch. I didn't have a lot left, so I just hit the real rusty spots with it. And it's pretty well dry now, so I'm going to just go ahead and hit the middle of this. Yeah, you'll see. I'm going to shoot this black is what I'm saying, knowing that I'll be stripping it down again, like I said, but I still need to deal with the top. Ooh, got a nice big dent right there. We'll have to take care of that one. It's funny how your eyes just catch that stuff. All right, let's shoot this with some sandable black just temporarily, and we'll be back. Well, that's definitely huge progress. I have a much better mental picture of what this Fender's like. There's one dent in the top. We need to rebuild the front. We're going to probably rebuild it from here down. The bottom up there, I'm not 100% sure on yet. We'll get that on a fender stand and take a look at it. The question may be being asked, well, why didn't you go through and get it all done? Because I'm out of time, and this channel is about spending the day with me in the shop. I need to get more media to grind up here. That'll take me 10 minutes. I probably won't even bother sharing that with you guys. Just pretend it's all done. It'll be fine. I priced out already through online what this part costs, anywhere between $90 and $150. So I'll think about that. I will check with my local jobber. A lot of times things are a lot cheaper through the local guy. Whether or not they can get it, I don't know. But the rest of it, I think we'll just fab up and we should be in good shape. I did want to go upstairs and take a hammer real quick to the back of this fender that's up there and just see how much mud is in there. So I'll do that real quick. I'll be right back. An interesting discovery that I'll share with you later, but that fender is actually not bad. It's got a rust hole down here, but it's not nearly as beat. So I could really possibly take that bottom of that fender, cut it off. It would need a couple of patches put on it, but that may be the way to go. It would save me a ton of time rather than trying to make this whole thing. So we sell Seashell City, but it was interesting. I didn't expect. I forgot to check the front. I'll do that another day. Like I said, I'm out of time. But here's what I want to share with you. Where I started out this video was talking about a lack of motivation. So I didn't get this all done. That's fine. But what I did do was create a visual scenario that every time I walk in the shop, as long as this fender's hanging here, I've created an emotional energizer for me. So every piece of this car that gets in primer, I get crap sometimes. Why are you always using rattle can primer? Well, two reasons. One, I like to coat stuff so that it just doesn't rust sitting around the shop. We had kind of done that with one of the floor pans. I purposely left it in bare metal. I had fabricated it, didn't get back to it for a couple months. It rusted from sitting here in the shop. Anything else in the car that's just in primer did not rust. Now, I know in the long term, primer absorbs moisture and it will rust, but we're not talking about something that's going to be sitting for 5 years. So putting some rattle can on it keeps it from getting that real quick surface rust because stuff in here sweats. But the second thing and the bigger thing is there's a visual appeal to seeing things being all basically one color. And I don't know about you guys, but I need that. I need constant encouragement to see the project that, yes, there is changes happening. Yes, there are things that are done. This part of the fender all the way across there, that's done. All I got to do is scuff that down again with a DA and hit that with some automotive type primer. Some guys like to use epoxy. I personally don't. I'll probably just hit that with a good coat of etching primer and then hit that with some polyester primer, block it out, good to go. Top of the fender again, same thing. We'll have to patch this. But this is a project that is something I can do, like that front valance that, I may not feel like diving into doing a bunch of floor pan work, but I can tackle something like this, and let's face it, it's all got to be done. That's the nature of these projects. So even if it's not in the scope of what you are currently working on, and it's not necessarily lining up with my goals of getting this car off the rotisserie by spring, which it is already spring now, and that's obviously not happening. And we've shifted priorities, as I said at the beginning of this. It's still lining up with the bigger picture of getting stuff done, but even more importantly, of giving me, when I walk in the door and I see this car here and it's got another black panel on it, I feel good about it. And if I feel good about it, that makes me want to work on it. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate being here, and we will catch you on the next one. Oh, and don't forget, rock!